every TDS player has their own hot takes, so in this video I asked my Discord server members for their own hot takes on TDS and ranked them based off of how much I agree with them. Let me know if you have any hot takes in the comments or leave them in my Discord server and maybe I'll make a part 2. So don't find these people and then hate on them. This video is just made for fun and everyone has their own takes on the game and we should be respectful of that. Starting off with our first hot take, we have Paintballer isn't actually a bad starter tower. So throughout TDS history, Paintballer hasn't really been the best tower, but just last year, Paintballer got a buff, and this person says it's not a terrible starter tower for beginners. Unfortunately, I'll have to disagree with this because Paintballer has really small range, and its AoE doesn't really make up for that, and it only has 24 single target DPS, which is only 2 more DPS than 3 regular Scout. So I would just use Scout over the Paintballer, and Scout is free, and also has way more range. So with that being said, I'll put this hot take in F tier. For our next hot take, we have Archer is only good in hardcore. Archer has gotten a mini rework a few months ago, giving Archer 3 arrow types, and its fire arrow gives Archer lead penetration on top of flight and hidden detections. And with Archer being pretty cheap, it's not a terrible tower, but this hot take is implying Archer is only good in hardcore. I'll actually have to agree with this. I don't find myself using Archer outside of hardcore, and when I do, it's really for solo hardcore. If I really need an AoE tower or fire tower, I'll just use Rocketeer, Modar, and Pyro in the main modes. So I'll give this S tier as I fully agree with this take. Sledger is also another tower that got a rework of sorts, and this hot take is Sledger is the best freezing tower. I only agree with part of this. Sledger for an event tower is a little bit overpowered. It's able to deal large amounts of damage to crowds while freezing them, albeit it's not really meant to be a freezing tower. I see it more of a DPS / crowd control tower. I really like to use Sledger for Fallen or Molten speedruns as it's quite cost efficient and its damage output is enough for both modes. So I believe Sledger is overall a great and underrated tower, but the title of the best freezing tower is contested, so I'll put this take in B tier. Modar has honestly seen one of the biggest comebacks in TDS history, being a widely used tower for all types of challenges like solo polluted wastelands. Some people may say Modar is a little overrated, and that's exactly our next hot take. I personally have been using Modar a lot, especially for the Ducky Revenge event. Even outside the event, I find myself using it for Fallen speedruns or just general crowd control. I'd say the love for Modar is well deserved and has been a long time coming. Although the only flaw with Modar in my opinion is the first 3 levels are kinda mid. I find myself using only levels 4 to 5. Despite that though, I think Modar is a great tower, but I could see why people may think it's a little overrated, as the first 3 levels are kinda filler, so I'll put this take in D tier. For our final hot take, we have a very similar one to our last. Ranger is overrated. Similar to Modar, I've been using it a lot for the Ducky Revenge event for DPS, and sometimes use it as DPS for hardcore, or even Fallen if I have the space for it. I think this hot take stems from Ranger not being used outside hardcore or events that often. You may see it in Fallen, but in Molten and below, I don't think Ranger is necessary. Ranger's high-ish cost and the less waves in the easier game modes make Ranger really a drag to use in something like Intermediate. I myself don't use it in Molten at all, especially not in an Intermediate or under. Despite that though, I think Ranger has more pros than cons, and every player should aim to get this tower. Now you could probably debate if Ranger is actually overrated, but in my opinion, I think its praise is worthy, and in fact it's probably going to get a nerf soon as hinted by this message the balancer sent. So with that being said, I'll put this take in C tier. Anyways, that's the end of the video. You know, most people would have actually left, like they clicked off the video, like that's kind of rude, you know, there's stuff at the end of the video, you should watch that too. Anyways, what I wanted to tell you guys is, I'm probably going to make a part 2, as what I originally planned for this video to be is where I just make 20 hot takes in one video and just rank all of them the way I ranked them in this video, but I was lazy, so I'm just gonna do multiple smaller parts. I know I said maybe part 2, but unless this literally gets 0 views, part 2 is gonna come out. So join my Discord server if you want your hot take to take priority, but I will be trying to do some in the comments, so leave them down in the comments if you don't have Discord. But yeah, if you watched all the way here, then you're very special. You know what? Say carrot. Yeah, leave carrot in the comments and I'll pin you. Yeah, say carrot and I'll pin you. Anyways, yeah, end of the video. Oh wow, this was like 1 minute. Okay, goodbye.